Okay, this will be a regular 45-15 setup. So you're doing each station 45 seconds, and then rest 15. Then you do it again for 45 seconds. Then you move to a different station. So you go 45 on, 15 off, 45 on, then 15 break, move to the next one, 45 on, 15 off, 45 on, and then just work your way through the stations here. Equipment that you'll want a bench for some split squats, a bench or a chair, some object you can rest your foot on. You're going to need a band for a few different exercises, and then you'll need sliders for a couple different things too. So those are the 3 objects that you'll need, and we're going to get started in about 10 seconds here with the hand walk or hand walkout.
Alright guys, hand walkout, always a good way to start the workout. We'll walk out overhead, get some core activation there, don't fall on your face. Hand walk back in, take the hamstring stretch there at the top. If you'd like to, you can stand tall between each repetition, kind of reset the body. Otherwise, nice big hand walk, core, walk back in, hamstring stretch. 20 seconds out. If you get too far and all of a sudden you realize you're too far, drop the knees. Gently, but you can put your knees down there, kind of get back into a position where you can recover and then hand walk back in, drive the hips up. It's as much about the hamstring stretch there as it is the core stretch overhead. 2, 1, breathe. As Ben mentioned, this is 45-15, so we'll rest 15 seconds here. We'll do it a second time. We have 19 exercises in a row and then a couple stretching things to finish. A little bit of legs today, a little bit of heart rate today, just a little bit, within reason. I'm excited. 30 seconds out. The next exercise up is going to be that split squat, Bulgarian split squat or rear foot elevated split squat. We're going to do 1 pulse and 1 hop. You'll need that coffee table, the chair, or the couch. 10 seconds out here. First, 5. Make sure you have adequate spacing. 4. So keeping that weight loaded on the front foot here, getting the pulse at the bottom, so kind of a half rep at the bottom, and then coming back up. It's not much of a hop. If you can get a little bit, that's great. If you need to stay down on the floor, that's okay too. Put the pulse at the bottom and then a little more power on the way up. "15 seconds left. Make sure you're not putting much weight into the back foot. That's mostly just a kickstand back there on the bench. You got all the weight leaning into the front leg. 5 seconds. Good, 15 break, and then you're going to switch to the other side. Fortunately, you had the hand walk for a warm-up, right? Yeah, that's great. So other side, and again, talking more about the weight distribution. If you're feeling that back knee or back hip very much, that's a sign that you're putting too much weight into that back leg, into the bench. So you want to keep it on the front. There shouldn't be much stress on that back leg, back foot, or knee. 25 seconds to go. And the next one's going to be down on the floor into some side plank switches. So you'll be in that side plank to start out, going back and forth. 8 seconds left. Get a couple more of these. 3, 2, 1. And good. Side plank with a switch. choose the side to start on. You might stack your feet together, you might unstack them. But as you come through that side plank, match the forearms, match the elbows. Reach up across the body, reach the ceiling. 25 seconds here. Try to keep the obliques tight. Use the obliques, control the speed. Don't let the hips sag there. 10 seconds out. If you have any foot injuries or the core is weak, you could always go from knees, but it's a bit, it's not as fluid. And with most of our core stuff, it's slow, controlled. You could always add one hip drop after that reach. If it felt easy, you come over, do one hip drop there, roll back over, switch sides again. You don't have to. "30 seconds. Think about not letting that hip sag when you get across. The hip stays tight. Nice fluid roll. Reach the ceiling. 15 seconds out. Spend some time in limbo there. No rush. 10. Then our next thing is going to be a kneeling narrow push-up. 2. So knees for sure, and then it's more about tempo than it is range of motion or overall effort from toes.
And even though you're on your knees, you can still get all that weight into your upper body on this. Elbows stay pretty tight to the body on these, so we're not trying to go really wide. And hands are just about shoulder width. They're a tiny bit wider than shoulder width. So they're narrow, but not that narrow. You're still able to keep, it's more about keeping your elbows in tight to the body. That's what's gonna make them more of a tricep push-up. Lead with the chest, so you're sticking the chest out the whole time. 10 seconds to go. Not letting that forehead hit down on the floor. Last 5. Good, rest 15. You should definitely feel these a little bit more in your triceps and your shoulders than you would on a regular push-up. And we'll go in 2, 1, here we go. And even if you're really, really strong with your push-ups, still go from your knees and just rep it out. Get a lot of reps in there. I mean, get 100 push-ups. If you're the strongest person in here with your push-ups, get 100 tricep push-ups in the round. But odds are you're probably not going to get that. 25 to go. Driving those palms into the floor. Exhale every time you push up. Not letting those shoulders shrug up towards the ears, so keep those shoulders pulled down away from your ears, chest sticking out. 12 seconds to go. And then next one's going to be down on your back. Maybe another core one, static dead bug. 5 seconds. Good. 15, then you'll roll over onto your back. Alright guys, dead bug to kind of keep the core warm throughout the series. Low back is pressed down tight. If it irritates your neck, you're welcome to drop the head on the floor or hold with your hands without yanking on it. But the effort stays similar, being core dominant. The limbs can extend as far as your abilities will take you. Low back stays tight. 8 seconds. 3, 2. Same thing guys, 2, 1, and back up. You can hold
hold some weight in hands or in feet if you felt strong. But the movement stays the same. Low back's tight, limbs are extended, rib cage is drawn down. Squeeze your butt a little bit, keep everything snug. And if you're fully extended, everything's out, and you feel like you've got it, draw it all back in together, start over. Try to find a little more tension, a little more control throughout there, reach back out. Sometimes letting everything soften up and then starting back over, you'll feel a little more tension where you hadn't before. 10 seconds. Next thing, we're gonna roll into a plank position. Gonna be plank with opposite reach. Front form.
It's usually helpful to have the feet a little wider than a normal plank here. Lifting the opposite arm and leg. Try and keep those hips level throughout so we're not in a big shift every time you reach. That's more about bracing everything tight before you lift. This one you can go from your knees if you need to. You can just do a leg lift or an arm lift on this as well if you need to pull it back. 10 seconds left. Just good medium tempo on these. Don't need to rush it. 3, 2, 1. So find that plank position again. And reaching out. You can play around with the width of your feet here to make it a little easier or harder. It can change with each person which option feels a little easier, which feels harder. But whatever feels more unstable, that's going to be more of a challenge. And doing a good job of not letting that low back arch down towards the floor, so you've always got that little mini crunch. You're pulling those elbows down towards your toes. 15 to go. And then next one's going to be a broad jump, so you'll be up on your feet and you're going to need a little bit of space around you. Alright, rest 15. And for the jump, you need a little space forward and backwards. Kind of know what surface you're landing on, what you're wearing on your feet, and stuff like that, so you're not going to wipe out into something.
Be as soft as you can on the landing. Think about trying to absorb that weight. So don't put your feet in the floor hard. Don't stomp and catch. Think about going through a full range of motion squat as you catch the body weight. Kind of continually slowing down the speed as you land. So catch, first part will be pretty quick, but then as you sit in that full squat, try to absorb the impact. 10. 2. 'Same thing here, guys, broad jump. And if you're feeling comfortable, get some more distance or some more air time, but the same landing throughout. So control, land soft, full squat. We don't often do broad jumps in our daily life, so it's a good drill to kind of practice and continue to be able to do. 15 seconds here, and then we're going to try to go into fast feet. You and I both are going to try. 10.
You're not talking to me.
My body does not feel primed to move quickly, but we will give it a try. 2.
I can do it if you want.
We can race.
As long as we can pause the video for 10 minutes afterwards.
Fast feet.
So with this one, you're sitting your butt back into it. You're in a good athletic stance. Just quick feet. A lot of tension in the calves, in the feet and toes. You can add that little arm movement into it as well if you want to, depending on the surface that you have. This could be annoying for neighbors underneath you. Carpet usually works really well to muffle that sound. 18 seconds left. Woo! Last 10. Getting that heart rate up. 5. And breathe. Might feel those ones a little bit later too. Probably a good idea to do a calf stretch at some point here after this. Yeah, and be aware of your surroundings. You are going to usually move around a little bit on these more than you think. 25 seconds left. Keep breathing through. 15 to go. Six seconds, and you're going to be down on the floor for a pillar push-up coming up next. And relax there. So pillar push-up starting in a plank position, going up to hands, back down. That's the next one here.
With all of our moving plank stuff, core stays tight. Try to really keep control of those hip bones. 20 seconds. At some point you want to switch arms. If you haven't yet, wait till the second set. 10. 5. 2. Everything from here gets easier. I hate fast feet, man. They're worse.
So we got some high knees coming up though too. That makes some fun.
Don't worry about that. Is that you or me?
That's me.
Yeah, don't worry about that. After pillar push-up, don't forget you're supposed to have switched arms. Band is going to go around the ankles. We're going to do a little lateral hop with a pause. Or a catch. 20 seconds out. So after this, find the band around the ankles. 10. 5. 4.
So it's a little bit like our skaters. It's not going to be very much distance. Depending on the tightness of your bands, it might be more of just a tiny step to the side. Kyle's able to make it a little more of a hop, but again, depends on ability, band strength, and all that stuff too. Trying to land softly into it and really try to pause for a second. Like get full control so you're not just bouncing back and forth and you're not just falling from one to the next. 10 seconds to go, but should feel a lot in the hips, in the legs too for that stability. 5. Good. Yeah, it's gonna get you. Yeah, these ones don't take long at all to feel the burn.
And make sure when you're landing, you're still keeping the stretch on the band. So one way to make it easier is to take that tension off and almost let the feet come into each other, but that's not what we're trying to do on this. You want to keep some space between the feet, even on the landing. So that way you're never fully relaxed. Either side is never relaxed. 25 to go. After this one, we're going to need our sliders. We're going to have a crunch to pike. 13 seconds left. Three, two, one, and good. Take that band off. I guess you probably could leave it on if you really wanted to.
So crunch the pike, you're pulling your knees in, and then a slow pike on the way out.
Very deliberate here. Think about if that lower half was almost paralyzed. So use the core to pull the knees in instead of drawing through the hips. Pull through the core, draw, draw, draw. Then on that transition from crunch to pike, use the abs to drive the hips up. So draw into the core. Don't lose the tension there. Push up through the hips. Use the abs. Slow release. Then don't get too extended in that position right there. The core should stay tight throughout. The back's not going to sag. 10 seconds. 5. If you find it should be pretty challenging. Pull yourself in, use the core, don't lose the tension, drive up through the hips.
Yeah, the more you think about the core, the more it's going to work on this one.
So don't do a knee drive here. Use the core, draw the body in, stay snug, press the hips up, slow unravel. Almost like our Stallones we do, or the core extensions. There's a lot of tension on that straight leg when the hips start to come down. 25 seconds. Next thing's not bad. It's going to be a wall tricep. Find a wall. If you don't have one, use a bench or something else for dips. But wall tricep extension is our next exercise. 10 seconds out here. Doing good, guys. 3, 2. A couple of hard ones out of the way.
So on these, finding a good position, a good angle from the wall. So that's what changes it totally. If you can make it easier by stepping your toes up closer to the wall. Hands stay at about eye level or forehead level when you're in that extended position. So if you move forward with your feet, your hands end up coming up a few inches to meet your eyes. If you're moving backwards to make it more challenging with your feet, your hands then come down a couple inches to meet your eyes or your forehead there. 12 seconds left. Good core tension the whole time, so it's a good plank. Moving back and forth. Your hips move forward with the rest of your body. You're not letting that butt stick out the whole time. Good.
Just part of the time.
Yeah.
Not the whole time. Part of it. Try. Oh yeah, it's not bad.
So back on again. Elbows come down. Find that angle. If you're getting stuck at the bottom,
Don't put your head to the wall.
you want to get a little closer. So tension should be in the triceps, and then actively thinking about core engagement the whole time too. So everything moves as one unit. As your body falls forward, you lean up on your toes a little bit more. As you push back, your heels come down a little bit towards the floor. 18 to go. Shoulders are packed down too, so lats engaged. You're not shrugging up. 10 seconds to go. Then you're going to quickly get a mini band on above your knees. 4. So squat jumps will be next. Super pumped about these. Always fun.
It's a good demo, guys. When we land, we are in control of the knees. The knees are not shifting in. They're pressed out into the band. That is why the band is on. A lot of glute tension, a lot of control, soft landing. Arm integration is great. Squat jumps are not bad. Hands across the chest or hands on head. But arm integration will be good for most of us. Definitely some tempo here. Nice quick jumps. Nice controlled landing. Getting a good fast rhythm. Keep the knees apart. 10. 5.
Oh. Ay, ay.
It's not as hard as fast feet. Don't let them kid you.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say it's probably about 1.5 times as hard as fast feet. Yes.
There we go, back on. Same thing. After this exercise, guys, keep the bands on and keep them where they are so that we'll keep them above the knees. Hopefully you're slowly wearing your band out and stretching it. You guys pre-stretched our bands throughout classes, which I'm very thankful for.
Except for this one. This one's really tight, extra tight actually.
Why did you grab that one? Ben grabbed a new one.
Oh
He's
God.
being silly. 10. Mine's actually one of those extra wide ones we have hidden. 2. Banded glute bridge march. On your back, band stays on, still above knees. We're going to go into a glute bridge, but then do a little marching action. Oh.
So you get to that top position, that bridge position, and then you keep it the whole time. So you keep those hips off the floor that same height throughout. And you can take a little time to transition because you're going from all that tension in one glute, and then as you shift the weight to the other side, you shift the tension there, lifting your other foot. So the challenge is keeping those hips level the whole time, keeping them up. Lots of times they'll start sagging here. 10 seconds to go. And the whole time you're keeping tension on that band, so the legs stay a bit away from each other. 3, 2, 1. High knees.
Core should be pretty tight too. I feel a lot more core activation on this than I do on a normal glute bridge.
And that core tension is going to help take any strain out of the low back too. If you're relaxed in your core, you're more likely to arch that low back and feel tension there. You want to be keeping the abs tight, which is another thing that just helps keep your body in a good straight line from your shoulders through your hips to that knee that's down on the floor. You can add the lift up towards the ceiling if you want to be cool. And just keeping those hips up. 15 seconds left, then you're going to have some high knees next. Nice and high knees. 5.
You tip the camera over.
F this workout. Boom.
I swear I didn't, guys.
Oh boy.
Finish with the band. Bands up.
Not doing high knees with bands.
There we go. Good tempo. About as fast as you can control. Arms and legs are paired. There's a decent beat in the background here. Bam, bam, bam. 20 seconds out. Ben said he was worried about his ultimate frisbee speed, so he's going to go high knees back-to-back sets for the next 1 more minute, really. 5.
Oh, this is the off season. I don't need to do this. Oh boy.
5.
No.
High knees again. After high knees, we have 4 exercises left for the day, and then we'll do a few stretches to finish. It's good. 15 seconds out. Try to get back to that earlier tempo. Nice quick tap, 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 tap. 10. You'll need your discs for the next exercise. We're going to go into a valve slide hamstring runner. It's a decent double here, going from high knees into hamstring runner. And do that in the glute bridge.
So trying to keep the hips up. A few different options for this one. You can keep the butt down on the floor, but still put a lot of weight into the feet to make sure your hamstrings are working. If you don't put any weight in the feet, it makes it really easy, but we're trying to dig into the floor with those heels. Another option is to go back up, one at a time. So it's more of a stationary glute bridge for one side as you reach with the other, but still trying to keep a lot of weight in the sliding foot. That's the whole idea on these. 7 left. Good. Feel that all in the back of the legs and your butt and your hamstrings. I still can't breathe. So like we said, if people are pretty good at cheating with this and then not letting the weight go into the feet, but you want to get the hamstrings involved by putting more weight into the slider, into the one that's moving. Good core tension too, whether you're up or down with your hips. 20 left. Sorry. Next one's going to be a side plank, a rehab side plank. So a side plank variation. 10 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1. Good. Yeah, I got a nice chunk of stations here. These are all pretty fun.
Bottom knee is down 90 degrees. If you look at Ben's angle, that forearm or his bottom arm is right under the body. So long from knee, hip, and shoulder. Also think about squeezing the glutes to get the hips forward so the hips aren't back in space, the knee, hip bone, and shoulder all lined up. Some people have a tendency to stack that knee too far in or the elbow too far down, so they're not in a side plank. It's more of like almost a kickstand position. This should be pretty hard on that bottom glute as well as oblique. Top glute's definitely working as well. 10 seconds out. And the right hand could come across the body to assist in the floor if you needed it to. 5. 5 seconds out, bottom knee down. Make sure the knee, hip, and shoulder are all in the same line. And then hips are forward, so that hips are tight, glutes are tight. Push the hip bone forward, it's all in a line. "25 seconds out. 10. 5. 'Easy peasy. My hamstrings are blitz. The body's blitz. Alright, valve slide fallouts. Hands are on the discs. Kneeling. Overload core around the back. Control fallout. Be careful.
you want your knees on a pillow or a towel or something like that, you can do that. But get everything braced tight, little crunch position at the top, and then as you fall out, trying to maintain that crunch and not letting that low back arch at any point as you extend. It's also going to be good work on the lats and the shoulders, the arms too in that position. But think more about your core. 15 seconds left. Think more about your core to keep the majority of the focus there. 8 seconds left. Should be able to get one more good controlled rep in. And then once you are down on the floor, you just slide your hands back for a little push-up to get back up to the top position. Eventually. Not during the rest. Don't waste your time. It's a valuable 15 seconds. So we'll get through this one, then we're on to our last station after this, before the stretching. So really good control, and yeah, slow it down more at the end. If you're finding these not too challenging, spend more time in the second half of the movement. Slow it down a lot the last 6 inches, 12 inches off the floor. There's a few of you that can go from your toes in here, and then you can drop to your knees when you need to, but be really careful with this one. Make sure you're not face planting or arching your low back. 10 seconds to go. 2, 1. All right.
Last thing is going to be some V-ups. It's written as a double leg V-up, but if you have low back or any other issues, single leg V-up is fine. Could be a small crunch or a large sit to finish this rep. Not having to reach up too far. Knees can stay bent. It's all variable. Just do a little bit of a V-up motion in some movement pattern. 25 seconds out. Worst part about doing the 50-50 is 25 seems like a good count for that, but 25-second count for 45 is like not very motivating. No. Hey, but it's 12 seconds. 10, 5, 2,
All right, let's get a good finish here.
good finale. Before I stretch, 2 V-ups again, single leg or double leg. Some sort of stuff. We're then going to go through 4 different stretches. The first stretch after this is going to be that figure 4 hamstring. You'll have a normal 15-second rest. Then 5 on your back, 1 foot over top of the knee. You're going figure 4 hip, right?
Was it hip?
Yeah, same as that one thing.
Same thing.
Then either grab the back of the hamstring or front of knee there. Relax a bit, you're in that figure 4 position. You can reposition that crossed over leg if you need a little more or a little less stretch. Work on your breathing, relax, don't shrug. Try to get the heart rate down quickly even. As I mentioned, 4 stretches, we'll do this one twice. So in 15 seconds, a 15-second rest, we'll switch sides. 10. 2. Shake it out for a second. Find yourself in the other base. 5. 6. We've talked about it before. You could have that left leg stacked onto a wall or a table or something other than floating, to where it was more of a assisted stretch. 20 seconds out. The next thing is going to be a deep adductor stretch. So we're kind of in a standing or seated butterfly. Haven't figured out how to properly describe that one yet. It's a butterfly position. A squatting butterfly.
There we go.
What sort of animal just looks like that? Praying mantis kind of got like a funny stance about him.
Yeah. Just put a video of a praying mantis
There you go.
instead of this.
You look like a praying mantis, kind of. You got that weird look to him. 30 seconds out, just a single round here, and then we're going to go into thread the needle. After this, it will be hands, knees, and feet all on the floor. 20 seconds. I haven't seen a praying mantis in years.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw one.
Or a walking, like the little walking stick things, right?
Those are great. You don't see those because they're camouflage.
Five. I saw him when I had it for a pet. That's good.
I need to tag them, put something on them, wear a tassel on them so you can see them. What am I doing?
Thread the needle. 5. Reach the arm under, roll the rib cage, reach the vertical. Nice, easy stretch here. A lot of movement in that right arm that's down. That shoulder is moving quite a bit, as is the rib cage. We'll do one side for 45, rest, and then the other side for 45. Ten. Two. Reach and lift. You might have a nice easy exhale as you reach toward the ceiling. Big breath in, big breath out. Not forceful, just move some air. In 15 seconds, our last stretch is going to be the kneeling hip flexor. 10. 2. You can cushion the ground if you need to, or floor. And a lot of the intention here is pulling the hips under the body. You can keep your hips loose if you want to. Glutes tight, hips forward, abs are snug. Arms can be extended, pressing down in that front leg. That'll give you a little more core activation. Doesn't have to be aggressive, just load. But definitely roll the hips under, squeeze the glute. Easy breathing. 20 seconds here still. Three. Same idea here. If you wanted to find more quad, that back leg could be elevated up in like that split squat position. If you wanted more hip, you could walk the right leg out further. This should be a good combination, both some quad and some hip. And again, don't arch the low back, don't lean back out of it. Pull the hips into it. Last 20 seconds. Ten. 2. That's it. Best part about the workout's being done.